First and foremost, as always, I like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to you brothers that push His word in truth and in sincerity. Coming back with another lesson. And in this lesson, I want to get into the importance of counsel. And I'm going to start with this example here in the book of 1 Samuel of the consequences of not taking counsel before deciding to do something, and especially something of great importance, something that's not considered light, so to say. So here in 1 Samuel 6 and 15, it says, "And the Levites took down the ark of Yahweh and the coffer that was with it, wherein the jewels of the jewels of gold were, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Beth Shemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrifices in the same day. The same day unto Yahweh." So this is when the Philistines had pretty much sent the Ark of the Covenant back to Israel because they were getting plagued and put to death. All right, because the Ark of the Covenant didn't belong in their possession, so they sent it back to Israel. So this is going into it actually coming back to the Israelites, coming back to us. Verse 16, it says, "And when the 5 lords of the Philistine had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. And these are the golden emerods which the Philistines returned for a trespass offering unto Yahweh. For Ashdod 1, for Gaza 1, for Ashkelon 1, for Gath 1, for Ekron 1. Okay. It says, "And the golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines, belonging to the 5 lords, both of fenced cities and of country villages, even unto the great stone of Abel, whereon they set down the ark of Yahweh, which stone remaineth unto this day in the field of Joshua the Bethshemite." All right, verse 19, it says, "And he smote the men of Bethshemesh because they had looked into the ark of Yahweh." Okay. So, look, it said that the Lord smote the men of Bethshemesh because they had looked into the ark of Yahweh. Even he smote of the people 50,000 and 60 men. And the people lamented because Yahweh had smitten many of the people with a great slaughter. And the men of Bethshemesh said, "Who is able to stand before this holy Yahweh power? And to whom shall he go up from us?" And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kirjath Jearim, saying, "The Philistines have brought again the ark of Yahweh. Come ye down and fetch it up to you." All right. Now, just real quick, let's look this word Beth Shemesh up. All right. So, yeah. All right, Beth Shemesh. Oh, that's a long one. Bayath Thasha Mash Shaya Bayath Tha. So, like, hold on, just give me a second. Let me look this up quick. Yeah, that's No, that's Bayath Bayath Hasha Ma Shaya. All right, and it says house of the sun, an inhabitant of Beth Shemesh. Okay. All right. So you had individuals that were put to death. Okay, according to what we just read, for looking inside of the Ark of the Covenant. All right, now, you know, somebody might think that's, you know, it's not that grave, but no, like, because you got to understand that the Most High's presence was in the Ark of the Covenant, His Spirit, you know, that's where, the Lord's presence, when it would come down, that's where it resided, man. It was that's a very spiritual and holy, artifact or possession, of Israel. So you got to be clean, and you got to be chosen to even appear before it. Let alone call yourself trying to tamper with it. Okay, so once again it says, and he smote the men of Beth Shemesh because they had looked into the ark of Yahweh. Even he smote of the people 50,010 men, and the people lamented because Yahweh had smitten many other people with a great slaughter. Okay, so that's a decision that they should have went to those men should have went to counsel before they hastily decided to do that. Okay. All right. So once again, let me read this here in 1 Samuel 6:15. And the Levites took down the ark of Yahweh and the coffer that was with it, wherein the jewels of the jewels of gold were, and they put them in the great stone. Put them on the great stone, and the men of Beth Shemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrifices the same day unto Yahweh. So these were Israelite men that decided to do that. To look up in there and all that. And the Lord, put them to death. Okay. So let me see. So pretty much, using that as an example, reading what we read in 1 Samuel 6, like those men didn't think that they were doing any wrong or any harm by looking inside of the Ark of the Covenant. But in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, obviously he found them not worthy to be able to do that, and they ended up getting put to death. All right, so we're in a time when it's important to go to counsel with brothers, have counsel with brothers when making decisions, and it ain't got to be no sitting down and busting the scriptures open, having a 3-hour long counsel, deciding on whether you want to fry some chicken, this weekend or not. No, I'm being facetious, but brothers' lives are all intertwined, so to say. And your decisions you make affects the body. It affects the body. So simply just chopping it up with brothers, all right, it gets brothers on the same accord. And that in itself is counsel. All right, what brothers got going for the week. You know what I'm saying? What a brother, okay, he had to go through this. This brother got that coming up. You got this coming up. Brothers just seeing eye to eye, knowing what brothers got on their plate, and it might be a situation a brother throw out there and need some advice, and with other brothers being able to give that advice, it allows him to, through the Spirit, weigh out that advice and make the proper decision. Okay, which will alleviate unnecessary hiccups and hurdles, on that brother's behalf, because there was more than just his opinion that was thrown out there. Okay, now sometimes your original thought or opinion might be what you'll run with because it's the most logical, it makes the most sense, when you hear brothers out. But sometimes, brothers' opinions are more logical and make more sense, and you'll run with that, and the Lord will work it out. Okay, but that's important because we're in a time when you got agents everywhere just popping up at brother spots, spots that these cats don't even preach at. They just pop up at your location miraculously one day, preaching the word, that or a calling for all brothers to jump on board and pull up in defense of the Royal Rumble that happened in Chicago last weekend, with the Wi-Fi Chicago and those Palestinians. You actually got individuals that know they're Israelites that's calling for brothers to pull up and pretty much get a round two in. And that's not wise, man. The Lord ain't called us into this thing for those purposes, and that's leaving room for the ministry to be blamed, because now you giving you attempting to give the word a black eye, man. Okay, and that's all due to a lack of a counsel, man. Proverbs 15:22, it says, without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. All right. So with counsel, your purpose will be established. All right. And really, we have no purpose of our own. Our will is to do, the will of the Heavenly Father. That's our will, which is, being wise as serpents and harmless as doves, and simply going out to the highways and hedges and bidding those to the marriage. All right, not to be no pull up boys and wherever some rallies at with some Palestinians, pulling up and causing a ruckus with a damn microphone. All right, that's not why we was called into this gospel. Okay, this ministry. Proverbs 24:6, it says, for by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. All right, so simply communicating with brothers, there's safety in that, and this is a spiritual warfare, man. Okay, now all these heathens from the people over in the land of Israel to people here in the States or around the world, if you're not in this truth, you're an agent for Satan. All right, and this, like Ephesians the 6th chapter goes into, this is a spiritual warfare. Okay, so knowing that it's a spiritual warfare, you don't just run head first into danger without going to counsel. Okay, and that's what a lot of these other Israelite groups is doing. They just going to war, spiritual warfare, going right in the heat of battle with no armor on, with no spiritual armor on. Okay, and one by one, through the Spirit of the Lord, they're gonna drop like flies, man. Okay, the Lord is gonna make sure of that, because if you ain't coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you're going to lose. All right. Well, what was that next? Let me hold on real quick. Let me see. Acts chapter 5, verse 38. It says, "And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it, lest happily ye be found even to fight against the Most High." Okay, so if you know the antics and the maneuvering that these other Israelite groups is doing is approved of the Heavenly Father, then that's gonna stand. It's gonna stand the test of time. All right, but it's not gonna stand the test of time because it's not. They're not coming in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, they're coming, you know, in their own spirit. All right, they're coming, you know, in their own power, which is no power at all. And lastly, Proverbs 20:18. It says, "Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war." All right. So if you've been paying attention and been astutely attentive to the apostles and elders, all right, over the years, you would know that this is a spiritual warfare, and that, you know, the apostles, you know, have you know, continuously over the years, you know, advised brothers on how to maneuver in this truth. Okay. And, you know, as the times change, you know, the apostles and the elders, they'll adjust. All right, they'll adjust through the spirit to fit the times we in. Okay, that's why, matter of fact, so I can leave with this Proverbs. So I can just a second, bear with me. Oh, I'm checking. Ecclesiastes. Okay. All right. Oh man, what am I doing? So like it, bear with me. All right, here we go. All right, so like I said, there's a time for everything, and as we get closer to our deliverance, you know, through the Spirit, the apostles have adjusted, you know, to fit the times. You know, there was a time when we used to be out on the corner screaming at the top of our lungs, cussing people out. What we ain't in those times. You know what I'm saying? And these other Israelite groups, they don't seem to understand that we're not in those times. Okay. So Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, "To every thing there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance." All right, this ain't the time to be dancing or living in mirth. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. All right. A time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And we're in a time of war. All right. Physically and spiritually. All right, physically being the world around us is going to war, you know, and then spiritually, as we've known since we come into this truth, we've come into this truth that it's a spiritual warfare. Okay, and that's pretty much the point. All right, so knowing what time you in, you know, is an advantage. All right, and counsel, you know, is safety in a multitude of counselors, which is pretty much, you know, communication with, you know, brothers, man. All right. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. Until next time, shalom.